Okay, today's video is on recovering as a mom. So when you are trying to recover and juggle also being a mom, what happens is, well, a lot of things. But for me, what happened was I felt like I was losing no matter what I did. I felt like if I was challenging my eating disorder, I was super ornery and irritable and short with my kids. But if I wasn't challenging my eating disorder, I was also super ornery and irritable and short with my kids. So I felt like either way, I was just sort of always kind of high anxiety and kind of on edge is how my family would probably describe it. Now, if you're listening to this video and you're not a mom, you can use this like in place of just any relationship. I felt like I would be faced with a challenge and I'd think, if I eat this pizza for lunch today, I just am going to be in my head all day long, and then I feel like I'm going to take it out on my kids when they get home from school. I'm not going to be able to focus and be present on helping them with homework and taking them to practices and doing the things I need to do with them. So I just can't eat the pizza. But what's funny about that is before I had even started recovery, I wasn't present anyways. Like I thought that I was, but it wasn't until I actually fully recovered that I realized how not present I was. When I look back at old pictures, like you know how you'll have memories pop up in your phone from when my kids were younger, and I seriously I look like, first of all, I just look so like absent. Like you can see it in my eyes. I'm just like not living. I'm just kind of there smiling in pictures. But I felt like I have very vague memories. I don't even remember. I remember like food and these pictures of like, oh, I remember that holiday and I remember doing all these weird things with my food, or oh, I remember that Thanksgiving where I had to go for this long run before my sister's house. Blah. I have all these memories of that kind of stuff, but like the actual like memories that bring us joy, I have very few, and it makes me really sad. So when I tried to like talk myself out of perhaps eating that pizza because, oh, I'm not going to be present for my kids, I would just tell myself, I wasn't present before. Oh, sorry, Hazel's down on my lap here. I wasn't present before. So me trying to recover and maybe perhaps not being present for a little bit longer temporarily to then, once I fully recover, be in a place where I can be there for my kids. My kids can see me. Oh, sorry, Hazel just knocked her head. What a what a perfect video to be doing on being a mom while I'm holding a crying baby. Anyways, so just give me a second. Sorry. So I would have to kind of deal with the fact that I was going to be ornery and irritable by eating the pizza, or the challenging thing that was causing me the anxiety. And what I found helped, and some tips maybe that can kind of help you as a mom to work or navigate through this, depending on how old your kids are. My biggest advice for this is if they're old enough, and I even mean like 3 or 4, I'm not talking teenagers, like if they're old enough to like comprehend very general information, I would give them very general information. So, you know, with my kids, I'd say, so mom has weird fears, you know, like everyone has weird things they're afraid of. One of my sons is like afraid of worms, and another one's terrified of bedtime in the dark. And I said, mom just has weird fears too around food, you know, and like when I eat certain things, it makes me feel really anxious, and it makes me feel kind of irritable, and it makes me feel scared. And I would just tell them exactly like how it felt. So then when they were around and they saw me eating it, like not only were they a huge support, but they could also kind of understand like, wow, good for mom. Like, you know, I don't know. I just felt like they were so encouraging and helpful, and they really helped to keep me accountable as well. And that's something else I'll talk about in a second. So that's something like giving them information as much as you feel comfortable with. You don't have to go into depth about the biology behind an eating disorder and the, you know, the intensity of, you know, anxiety that you feel day to day, but you can just kind of explain to them what you're going through. That seemed to help me a lot. Same thing with a partner or a boyfriend or whatever. Help them to understand where you're coming from. It doesn't give you a pass just to be a total nightmare and awful all the time, but you can be like, guys, I'm really sorry that I'm being snappy. I challenged myself earlier today while you were at school. I'm glad I did it, but at the same time, I'm just feeling really uncomfortable. Like I'm just kind of, ugh. And they might understand that. And it helps you to also feel like you don't have to be perfect. It takes a lot of pressure off of you in recovery. The accountability piece, though, was huge for me with my kids. So I started recovery in a fall. So like my kids were just going back to school when I started recovery, and I had the whole day with them not home, right? So that's when I would go out and be driving from place to place to place, basically just getting food. Like I was on the hunt for food. But when they got home, or before they go to school, I'd be like, hey, let's go challenge this ice cream place, or hey, let's go get this snack after school. And then, of course, like any kid that's told that they're going to go get a treat with their mom, of course, they're so excited, right? So they would get home from school, and I wasn't going to, like, of course I was terrified, and I was like, this is a horrible idea. Why did I decide to do this in the moment? But I had these kids that were like anxiously waiting, going to get a treat with me, and I wasn't going to go take them to get the treat and me not get a treat. That's not me recovering. And so I would have to then follow through with that, and that helped a lot too. Same thing with a spouse or a partner. You can be like, hey, let's go out tonight. You pick the place, you let them pick it, and you're going. Like, that's it. You're going. So talking to these people in your life that you're so worried about appearing as though you're fine or always being in a chipper, happy mood, if you can talk to them and explain to them what you're feeling and also use them as accountability, I just felt like those were the two big things that really, really helped me. Accept the fact that you're not always going to be happy, that you are going to feel moody and really uncomfortable and very exposed and vulnerable. It's very normal in recovery when you're challenging yourself. And to think that you're going to get through your recovery without experiencing those things and, you know, being a perfect mom, it's not going to happen. So take the pressure off yourself. Accept the fact that you might scream and yell a little bit more than usual, but you'll get through it and it will pay off. And like, if I'm being honest with you, big secret here, I still yell and scream all the time. Not because I'm anxious that I had pizza for lunch, but I guess I'm just a screamer. I'm not the most patient mom in the world, and that's okay. Like, I have accepted the fact that I am not a perfect mom, and I've accepted the fact that I yell and scream sometimes. But I think our kids know that we're not perfect, and it's okay for them to know that. And it's okay for us to tell them that. So anyways, hopefully this video is helpful for those of you that are trying to recover while you're being a mom. The other thing I wanted to touch on, I just remembered, is activity. People will say, how am I supposed to rest all day long when I have a kid? You know, how am I supposed to just sit and eat all day long when I have a kid? Do your best. Do your best. You don't need to run your kid to the park. You can drive your kid to the park. You don't need to go and chase them and play, you know, tag. You can throw a ball back and forth or kick a ball back and forth. There's things you can do. Be smart. I know that if you were really committed to resting as much as you possibly could, that you would figure out a way. So if you have a little toddler too, I didn't at the time when I was recovering, but if I were now, I'd probably take her to, I don't know, like Chick-fil-A or McDonald's and let her play in the little play center and go get myself some fast food, things like that. So you can figure that out. Don't use that as an excuse. Okay? All right. Have a good day.